Hi, today is the 21st of December 2021. So, in the year of 2019, I was driving one day and I had made a periscope video in what was my Twitter account at the time of Aurora Mi-Ling. Now, I have authored a 3-volume book series, The Adventures of Susan Mi-Ling, Scuba Diver Extraordinaire. And you can go to my website, www.susanmiling.com, to find out a few things about what I've been working on, such as my Medal of Honor art project for one. There's also not just that book series, a few others that I've written, both in fiction series, but also non-fiction series, such as The Adventures of Susan Mi-Ling, Scuba Diver Extraordinaire, written by me, Reverend Susan Mi-Ling, although I do have a legal last name in that reference. Now, in that regard, in that Periscope video, I had gone on about how I wouldn't hesitate to go and take care of proving that I had landed at the bottom of the ocean, surfaced alive, that whole thing in reference to the USS or USNS General Hoyt S. Vandenberg. If you can make a reference to my, outfit in that regard, the darker color because of how deep in the ocean I was. And then the American flag because I took the pictures that I did in regards to my scuba diving. Now, I did not hesitate. No, I did not. So I had written to a bunch of different organizations, agencies, businesses. I stopped by a few locations, and then I also wrote or authored, whatever you want to call it, The Adventures of Susan Mi-Ling, Scuba Diver Extraordinaire. And so I had not hesitated. I didn't hesitate in the slightest. I went to the area, but I also stopped by a few locations. You have been capable to find out what I was doing throughout the entire time because I kept up to date. Now, my Periscope account, through that Twitter account, did get shut down. Nobody told me why. But I didn't hesitate at all, whatsoever. Because in order to hesitate, that would mean I wouldn't do anything at all regarding my scuba diving. Seeing how by the time of the beginning of the year of 2020, I had authored or written my 3-volume series, The Adventures of Susan Mi-Ling, Scuba Diver Extraordinaire, as well as had stopped by several locations. I can't even count how many priority mail, handwritten letters I sent all over the place regarding Congress, Senate, NOAA, Coast Guard, the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Pentagon, not forgetting, gotta remember, International Scuba in Carrollton, Texas. I already went over in my journal blog, the ornery PSA, on my website, www.susanmiling.com, about that barbecue that I had stopped by for. I have been doing all sorts of stuff. That has not been any hesitation whatsoever. Not at all. I haven't ever received any contact back. That's kind of the problem. Because anybody who has done any type of scuba diving, especially something as heavy duty as, the fact that I earned, 25 of my 26 scuba diving certifications before I went to the General Hoyt S Vandenberg. Who would ever think that there would be any method behind making sure that what I needed to go and do so would be taken care of? Who would ever think that? I mean, it's just 25 of 26 scuba diving certifications that I had earned before going to the Vandenberg. So I have continuously done things. Again, you can check out my journal blog, The Ornery PSA, on my website, www.susanmeeling.com. And you can read all sorts of journal blogs where I have gone over this. I haven't hesitated. I have waited for a response back. Now, I did get an email back from NOAA that was in reference to Aurora Meeling, but nothing more. They didn't bring up about the scuba dive and regarding the Vandenberg. There wasn't anybody who did. I contacted repeatedly. I even went and had bags made. I had business cards made. I updated my website. I did all sorts of stuff. Nobody ever got back to me. Not in reference to that. Not at all. And so who would ever think that there would be any requirements that I would have? I mean, I just earned 25 of 26 scuba diving certifications. I only went through all of that, and while I very much said I wouldn't hesitate, where could it ever truthfully be considered that I hesitated? I didn't. I have done all sorts of stuff to get it squared away, but yet nobody contacted me back about what I would personally need. Who would think that that would be important? I mean, I did. That's why I've gone over so many different aspects. Thinking, I guess that's my fault. I thought. I suppose that is totally my fault, 100%, that when I reached out and handwritten letters saying, please contact me back. This is my address. This is my phone number that you can contact me back through. These are the different avenues that you could contact me through. So that way we can, discuss this stuff. Didn't happen. Just didn't happen. Not to any non-effort of mine. There was plenty of effort on my part. Repeated. If you look at my journal blog on my website, www.susanmeeling.com, in the Ornery PSA, there are 3 specific scuba dive, specifically in my journal blog, topic points. I did that on purpose. Why? Why would I do that on purpose? Would you think it has to do with my 3-volume book series? You'd be wrong. You would be. You would. Do you know what it would actually have to do with? The 3 locations that I landed at the bottom of the ocean. That's what that would actually have to do with. Symbolism. Yeah. But I would guesstimate you would have thought that as far as the 3-volume book series. But no. Nope, not at all. So even though I have made every attempt possible, because I would need my own scuba dive gear. I wouldn't be willing to use rental scuba dive gear. That was something that I was, waiting for that contact back over. I even went and had this whole wish list put together so that way I could have everything I needed. And what was my plan? Before the issues over the time frame regarding my teeth, which I did write about in one of my books, Finding a Silver Lining, written by me, Reverend Susan E. Lane, about learning that if you descend and you have a cavity, there was this guy I knew. He had descended. He had a cavity he didn't know about. And as he ascended, it exploded in his mouth. And I told him when he had told me about this, that I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you could spit out chunks of your teeth while surfacing and not lose it. You're a better man than I. But then again, I was born as a female. Genetically, biologically, I'm a female. So obviously, by all accounts, that would automatically be an additional factor, that better man than I, to be capable to maintain your composure while surfacing from wherever you went scuba diving, while spitting out chunks of teeth, feeling the inhale as you draw the breath in from the regulator, while feeling the blood filling up in your mouth and spitting it out to take your safety stop as you need it. And then surface. That was just mind-boggling to me when I was told about it. And so I took a heavy-duty precaution on my teeth because it was one of those, oh, I can't, no, I'm so nervous. And then ironically, I found out about a whole bunch of cavities in my mouth, and I was like, I am so glad, which, by the way, I'm in the process of writing a new journal blog. And it has to do with how I wound off of a military installation, which, as a quick little side note, apparently, one of the things that gets taken care of if you out-process correctly is you stop by dental. So for those who may not have taken into consideration that I did not stop by dental because of how the out-processing had actually gone, let me clarify. In the year of 2006, it was brought up to me about how the out-processing went. And when it was, I had asked my now dead ex-husband in reference to, did I stop by dental? Did I do that? And he freaked out. It was shortly before that IRR situation. It was kind of irony looking back now in 2021 to then in 2006. So somehow that was overlooked, I guess. I don't know. Hypothetically, that might make an additional amount of sense in regards to stuff I've gone over. That EO and IG and a few other situations, but that's a whole other ball of wax, because if I had out-processed correctly, then I would have gone through dental. I also probably would have gone through the travel agency area if I had been out-processed correctly when it comes to the year of 2000. However, that was brought up in 2006. And by then, so many people had been informed in person, face to face, in person. And it was just whatever it was to each of the individuals involved. So I figured I'd make this quick little official YouTube video, because by all technicalities, it truly is quick now, isn't it? Nonetheless, I have been working repeatedly for weeks, months, and at this point, because 2019 to 2020 to 2021, years on that. So, under oath, I've already gone over this, again, in my journal blog, on my website, www.susanmealing.com, in the ornery PSA, about the paperwork that I knew I was going to be under oath when I went before the Dinwiddie, Virginia courtroom judge. And so when it was time for me to be in front of the judge, when it was possible for me to, I gave over evidence under oath. Though the reality is, there's no, as I've written before, and as I've thought in regards to back in the 1990s, once you take an oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I didn't really think that that stopped. Once you were, out of the courtroom, I might be a little weird for that. But I also was a teenager at the time. And I was already a confirmed member of Old Tenet Presbyterian Church, part of the Presbyterian Church USA. And the church I grew up going to was used as a hospital during the Revolutionary War, with General George Washington's private office out back, along with his orders for the church to be used as a hospital during the Revolutionary War, because the Battle of Monmouth wasn't far off from where the church on the hill is. And so I didn't ever want to upset General George Washington's spirit. I kind of, very much knew about a few things, and that whole, reverend, or I apologize, he was a reverend. He was called both reverend and pastor because of those times. Because unlike now, it's not as official or officiated for the official back then, as far as certain seminary aspects. So, Pastor William Tenet, Reverend William Tenet, that whole thing, I also thought that this would be perfect, just for that, because, believe it or not, I can think about a few things all at once. I know, even though I had a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, but I thought it was befitting, especially with my skirt, or bustle that I made. Symbolism. Anyway, so hopefully that clears things up officially, remember, under oath. And I hope everybody enjoys their holidays. Happy Hanukkah. It already has gone by, Hanukkah. But remember why I got involved in scuba diving. It's that Jewish medical journal. With that British medical journal regarding headaches and that whole thing, how scuba diving was supposed to help that. Christmas is coming up. Happy holidays for other holidays involved, but Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, because today is the 21st of December, 2021. Come on, can't you find a funny reference to the date? Especially in reference to that out-processing paperwork and the actualities of it being done correctly in comparison to what occurred in the year of 2000. You guys have a great day, and make sure to go to my website, www.susanmealing.com.